Welcome to Nancy and Nicole, Real Life, Real Talk. And today's episode is what do you do when you are off your game? You know, those days where you cannot put two thoughts together. Maybe you can't stay on track. Maybe you're like me and you start 6 sentences and can't follow any of those thoughts to completion. Wait, that's every day for me. But sometimes you just are out of your groove and it feels like the gears are grinding and you're forcing something that just is not coming naturally. And I think for you and I, Nicole, we are so used to things kind of flowing, coming somewhat easily. We can like find our way to that place of ease and groove again so easily that
Yeah.
when we are in that gears grinding, it is excruciating. Some other people, that's like, yeah, that's kind of how every day feels for me. And I think that is a whole, maybe another conversation about when you are in that season or chapter of your life. But
Mhm.
sometimes it's a season. I mean, that's a good point I just made, if I do say so myself. Thank you very much. I mean, sometimes it is just a day or a
Yeah.
week, but other times it is it is a season, it is a chapter, it is a bigger moment of stuff being off.
Mhm.
And I think we live in a world where so much of our pressure is when something feels off, we go for the external fix.
Mhm.
And sometimes it is an external fix, but sometimes it's not. And I would argue the times where it's really a grind, it's probably not an external fix.
Yes.
I'm curious what you think.
How do you define really a grind?
How do you define it? I know I am, but I know you are, but what am I?
What?
Or whatever that saying
Yeah,
is.
exactly. I don't know either, but maybe that.
How do I define the grind? Okay, I'm not going to step away. I'm not going to
All
defer.
right. I got an answer now too. You go first though.
The grind is where I'm probably letting the voices in my head have way too much space and
Mhm.
I'm believing them. So a lot of self-doubt. I think I try and do more than I can in time.
Mhm.
So I'm not doing any of it very well and that feels crappy. I think I'm trying to do things too perfectly and then I'm screwing it up. Like I'm overthinking or winging it. I mean, either way, stuff
Mhm.
isn't coming together. Sometimes that is like with projects that I'm working on or when I'm writing a new talk or a program or something and it's just not coming together. Sometimes it's about client, like real estate clients and flow around that. And I usually try and compensate by pushing and forcing uh an outcome that isn't clearly meant to be.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm similar. Like I get super off when I'm too attached to a specific outcome for a specific thing, right? Like
Yes, yes,
I
yes,
want to do
yes.
this one thing and have this outcome come from it versus, when you kind of get into that energetic flow, which still requires a lot of action, by the way,
Totally.
because I talk about energy and all the things. It's not like I just sit there and meditate and it happens sometimes, but most of the times there's a whole lot of energy. But when it feels like a grind or I can't get there, I'm off my game, all of those things. It's usually when I'm overthinking it and I either am I have something I want to do, like an action, and I really want this outcome from that specific action, or I don't know what to do and I'm trying to, like I always say, life happens for me if I just get out of the house and interact with the
Mm,
world. But if I'm sitting at home trying to come up with that perfect thing to do for whatever it is I'm trying to accomplish, well, first of all, I usually don't do anything because then my mind goes blank and I can't come up with anything. But even if I do it, it's the action, the energy, all of it. It just rarely does it become that one thing. So it's getting out there and interacting with the world. So what do I do then when I'm off my game? I recognize that and I make myself get out of the house. Sometimes I just go to minimal actions of like, okay, what do I have to do to just get by? Like, what are those core
mm,
things I need to do? Because sometimes I am off my game. So it's
yeah.
like I just got to do, especially the last 2 weeks, right? My mom passed away a week ago. Like I'm on like
Has that
basic
really been only a week?
uh
No, 2
a week
weeks.
and a half, almost 2 weeks,
Okay.
because it was, yeah, not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. So almost 2 weeks that she's passed. But
Yeah.
I'm kind of on like, I'm getting it done, but I'm not doing all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
That is pretty reasonable.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But continuing to have things to show up for, like even recording this podcast, is helping me to just keep things flowing.
I think there's a different, I'm going to hypothesize. I don't know if I think this
Yeah.
is true, actually. But I'm curious because you and I both are self-employed. I'm really wondering how much that feeling of what you do when you're sort of off and feeling the gears grinding when you have a 9 to 5 job you got to go to every day.
Yeah. You meaning, do they have it less or do they have it more? Or
Yeah,
same?
yes.
Yeah.
Or more or less different, because I do think there's,
I'm assuming they have a lot more laid out for them, right? It's more just completing. Like for us, we have to kind of come up with all of it on our own.
well, or just I have more room to stay messed up in my head
Mhm.
because I don't have to be at the office
Right.
and, I don't know. I'm okay, people, you got to help me out here. Get back to me. Let me know. Is it more, less, different, same? We're all human. That's really the
I think that's
gist.
really
It's
where we're
not,
going.
yeah. I think probably is, now that I'm saying that out loud. I think it really is much more just,
Yeah. We all are off our game in various areas of our life, right? Could be
I
health
think
and
it's,
fitness. It could be work, relationships. That we
yeah.
all have areas where we can get off our game.
And isn't it interesting that even in how we're having this conversation, there's an implied bias that there's something wrong when we feel off, when the gears are grindy. I mean, like, none of that is good. It's out of flow. And yet, it's like inhaling and exhaling. You got to have both.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I mean, you would never say, oh, damn it, I got to exhale again. All I want to do is inhale. I mean,
Right. Yeah. That's a
it
good
is
point.
absolutely ebb and flow. And yet our culture, and again, I'm curious if it's true in other cultures, or maybe it's just more of a human condition, is that we judge ourselves and the moment by if it feels like we're in flow or not.
Yeah. 100%.
That, if I'd had that, if I could live with that aha, like front and center in my head, so I could have more grace for myself when I'm out of my game. Like earlier this week, so as you know, and some of the listeners may know, I'm doing a workshop this next week and launching this program later in May, and I have been burning the candle at both ends with a blowtorch, bringing all this together, and I was so in my head, ginchy, cranky, feeling like everything felt like an uphill battle. Nothing was coming together. I really don't understand the tech stack behind all this. Thank God for my friend Erica Biddix. Thank you, Erica, for coming to the rescue for me on that stuff. But I just oh my God, I just felt at the end of my rope. But today, as we're having this conversation, I totally have the perspective of even a compassionate, soft, like, oh, honey, of course you felt that way. Like, that's part of the process. That's part of the evolution of doing something new or doing anything or just being alive. Like, there's just times where it's going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when I am in it, I
Yeah.
don't know what to do. I like your comment earlier about, like, you just have to get out of the house.
For me, it's key.
Yeah. If I am cold plunging, that helps me a lot. As we're having this conversation, I'm realizing that is some of what just puts my entire life in perspective when I'm able to do that every day.
Having those things. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Every question I want to come up with continues the framework of it's something that we have to fix. Like, I want to ask you about, like, so what are, other than just leaving the house?
So I think there's a balance of, like, when you're off your game, sometimes there isn't anything to fix. It's just a moment to be in. And so there is an element of you're there for a reason and not necessarily a bad one, right? You're just like, you're in process, it's a metamorphosis, you're changing all of those things. But it is a fine line in the sense of, if I'm off my game, that can go from a riding the wave to a checking out
Mm.
easily. right? And so I can be off my game, for longer than I realize, right? I think I'm off for a week. Turns out I've been off for 6 months.
Mm.
And in some areas of your life, that's okay. In my income area of my life, I can't always afford to be off my game for 6 months. So there's at what point is allowing yourself to be off your game? Productive isn't the right word, but like part of the process. And at what point am I, at least, just not engaging and using it as an excuse? I think it's different in every situation, right?
Yeah.
And there's a fine line, and I don't have a specific, like, this is the tipping point, but you kind of know, right? There's a point at which, like, I'm off my game. I need to recuperate. I need to give myself time to rebuild, or I'm off my game. I need a kick in the butt and I got to get out there and go, do something. So it's kind of a both and. Yeah.
Yeah. My inclination, just because of who I am, is that I usually think the world thinks it's an external fix.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're a realtor, I just need to do more out. I need to hold more open houses. I need to, you know, change my lead generation, or my social media, or do ads on whatever platform you do ads on. Um, Obviously those aren't the things I do, but it's all that external, and there is obviously things to do for your business, to generate business. But I think there's, as you were saying, there's that balance of you can do all the external stuff, but if you're not right on the inside, you're so if I'm not you, when I am in that place of doubling down on self-judgment,
Mm-hmm.
like really not being kind to myself and feeling that clenching tightness of fear
Mm-hmm.
that it's never going to change, all of the outside activity isn't going to move anything.
Right.
My Achilles heel, I think, is I get so focused on the inside stuff and
Mm.
trying to do that work that I don't do the outside stuff.
Got it. Yeah. I hear you.
And it's not even, I just get stuck in it. I spin, I self-obsess. I can process pretty much 24/7.
There's a lot to process.
But kind of in a compulsive, I mean, clearly I have some self-judgment about that, it's too much.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to work for me, so whatever. But I'm really, once again, baffled by our conversation in how I feel challenged by it. And maybe that's the gift of this podcast for me these days, is clearly the last couple episodes, and again today, are kind of kicking my butt in real conversation.
I think that's okay.
That vulnerability is painfully uncomfortable for me.
Well, and that's part of it's part of why we wanted to do this podcast, not to make you uncomfortable on a regular basis.
Sure.
Because as we have our conversations, both of us usually have some ahas of, oh, I hadn't thought about it that way. Or there's something that's like, yeah, this is a bigger thing than we realized. And we
Yeah.
wanted to share that with the world. So it's part of, because I believe that other people have the same thoughts.
I do too. And I think most of the content creation out there and social media and podcasts and stuff tend to, I think, and I don't consume a ton, but my impression is that if they're going to talk about what do you do when you're off your game, when you're out of your groove, when the gears are
Yeah.
grinding, it is like, here's the top 5 things to do. And it's all external doing.
Right. And it's usually more internal.
Yeah. And judgment that, again, it's something to fix. Now, you don't want to live there in that space. I get
Yeah.
that. But I don't think we do tend to live there. I think it's when we double down on the resistance to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fascinating. Yeah.
So what do you want people to get out of this episode? What do you want to leave them with today?
Being human's complicated.
No
And
doubt.
just give yourself a break about it all.
Mhm.
And if you don't have it all figured out, or you can't figure out, wait, is this an inside moment or an outside moment of what they need in this moment, it will become apparent to you.
Yeah. Try something. See, and you'll know.
Yeah. Or don't try anything. I mean, just sit in it.
Also that.
How about for you? What do you want folks to walk away from?
To know that we all get off our game. It's
Mm.
part of the process. It's super uncomfortable to know you're not alone. and to keep experimenting, right? There's no universal 5-step, this is the answer. I know, right? It'd be so much easier. But to
That's
stay
the
in
part
it.
I keep waiting for. But just stay in it. Yeah.
Yeah, stay in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
people.
realize there's gonna be a gift in there somewhere, which I know is super, like, tie it up with a bow, but there usually is at some point, not usually the beginning.
I might have to get one of those really giant bows, like what they put on cars and put it on your house.
That's funny.
Just wrap it up. All right,
Oh,
people.
thanks for joining us today.
You know what to do. We'll see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.